Hey, church. Listen, we're looking at Nehemiah 9 and 10 this week, and I want to read to you from the CSB, Nehemiah 9, 1 through 3. And it says, on the 24th day of this month, the Israelites assembled. They were fasting, wearing sackcloth, and had put dust on their heads. And while they stood in their places, they read from the book of the law of the Lord, their God, for a fourth of the day. And they spent another fourth of the day in confession and worship of the Lord their God. Now, this is 2 days after the celebration of the Feast of Booths, and the people had gathered again. But this time, it looked completely different. There was fasting, sackcloth, dust on their heads, and these weren't theatrical gestures. In the ancient world, they were the physical language of grief and humility before God. And they did it. They did two things for 6 hours. They read the word and they confessed. 3 hours of scripture, 3 hours of honest reckoning before God. And this was not a quick prayer before moving on. This was a people who let the weight of what they heard actually land in their hearts. Now, when we look at our lives, confession has become one of the most under-practiced disciplines in the modern church. We treat it like a speed bump. It's a quick acknowledgement. It slows us down on the way to the next thing. But in Nehemiah 9, it describes it as a posture. Sackcloth means you're not pretending. Dust on your head means you're not performing. And for 3 hours of confession, it means you're not rushing. The question isn't whether you have sinned this week. I mean, you have. We know that, right? Probably today, probably right before you watch this video. Same for me, right? But the question is whether you've actually stopped to reckon with it honestly before God, to speak about it the way that God speaks about it. Here's the question. When you confess sin to God, are you being genuinely honest with him, or are you just trying to check a box and get a list out? Listen, before Sunday, I just want you to take 10 minutes that you would normally spend scrolling or rushing and just sit quietly before God. No agenda, no performance. Just bring what is actually on your conscience and let him meet you there. Confession, it's not the end of something. It's the beginning of everything. And I just want you to remember as you do that Jesus isn't sitting there beside you, angry at you. He's in your presence and he loves you and he is proud of you and he cares for you and he accepts you if you've given your life to him. You're living from acceptance, so confess like you're living from acceptance.